What is the nature of your thoughts, gentlemen, when you say you move your lips in a particular way?
Okay, all right.
Canada is about people who are constantly fighting for something instead of against. Canada is also the story of people who work hard a little more behind the scenes, but on the front lines. We are standing on the shoulders of everyone who built this country before us, and we work hard every day for those who will follow. All the progress we've made didn't happen by accident, and it won't continue without effort. We have a responsibility to carry forward this progress to future generations. I think it's important to recognize that we're in a world right now where these discussions, this polarization, this fear of the other has become easy currency for politicians who do want to strike up uncertainty in people's hearts and lift those anxieties and try to get people to vote against things. No. Unfortunately, Mr. Bernier on this stage is playing that role of trying to make people more fearful about the migrations that are happening in the world, in the opportunities around globalization, and our ability to continue to redefine every single day what it is to be Canadian, what it means to be Canadian. And yes, it will evolve. It will transform itself as we take leadership, as we move forward. And
you always want to celebrate. You always want to celebrate our diversity.
People around the world
we must celebrate our history. We must celebrate who we are. And I'm proud Canadian like you. And you know, we built this country together, and we want this country to be like that in 25 years. We love this country, and it's not because I want to have a discussion about immigration that I'm radical.
Only your role 6%, on this stage tonight seems 6%. To be to say publicly what Mr. Scheer thinks privately.
No. Chrystia has outlined what the mandatory vaccination that's in place immediately for federal employees will look like. The bottom line, proof of vaccination will be required by no later than the end of this month for all federal employees. And by mid-November, enforcement measures in place will make sure that everyone is vaccinated. This is about keeping people safe on the job and in their communities. And the same goes for the second commitment we made, mandatory vaccination on travel. By the end of October, everyone 12 or older on a plane or train within Canada should be fully vaccinated. There will be a short period where people who are in the process of getting vaccinated can show a negative COVID-19 test, but by the end of November, if you're 12 or older and want to fly or take the train, you'll have to be fully vaccinated, as will staff. Testing will no longer be an option before boarding.
The Prime Minister famously said, and I quote, "I no longer have dealings with the way our family fortune is managed." Good problem to have, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, because he's never had to balance a household budget, he thinks budgets balance themselves. He's not worried about costs because he makes others pay for his mistakes. The problem is that his never-ending deficits will sooner or later lead to higher taxes. Will he be honest with Canadians and tell them before the election how much taxes will go up and who will have to pay?
The Prime Minister.
We know the members opposite don't understand anything about transparency and accountability, but I put my portfolio in a blind trust so that I can work on the responsibilities as a leader and indeed as a Prime Minister with impartiality. But it's interesting that they won't ask that same question in English that was just asked in French about giving to Quebec a single tax filing. I will always stand up to defend the interests of Quebecers and indeed all Canadians, but I was also stand up for what's good for Canadians and stand against pandering to the provinces.
Honourable member. Member for Carleton.
Blind trust. What the Prime Minister is asking of taxpayers is that they blindly trust him, that he can spend a great fortune amass enormous debts, set on track permanent and growing deficits, and trust that no one will ever have to pay for it. Canadians do not have inherited family fortunes. They know that budgets don't balance themselves. Will he tell them the real cost that his taxes will impose on everyday Canadians after the election?
Prime Minister.
For 10 years, Mr. Speaker, the member opposite and the Conservative government under Mr. Harper kept giving tax breaks and benefits to the wealthiest Canadians in the hopes that that would lead to growth and opportunity for all Canadians. Well, it didn't. It failed miserably because under Stephen Harper, Canada had the worst growth record since the Great Depression. We made a different choice to lower taxes for the middle class, to invest in folks who needed our help with things like the Canada Child Benefit, the Guaranteed Income Supplement increase for seniors, the Canada Workers Benefit. These are the things that have made a difference.
Member for Carleton.
Well, isn't it funny to listen to a trust fund baby lecturing Canadians about being too rich? That's right. He says that people who take the bus are too rich and therefore should lose their transit tax credit. Soccer moms and hockey dads, Prime Minister says they're too rich, so he takes away their children's fitness tax credit. At the same time, he forces these same working class families to pay for his taxpayer-funded nannies. Will he put aside the hypocritical class warfare and tell us the true cost of his tax increases that he would bring in if he got reelected?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we see proof that the Conservatives simply don't understand that low-income families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay taxes. We have moved forward on investing directly in low and middle-income families with the Canada Child Benefit that will actually directly benefit them. We have lifted hundreds of thousands.
I asked the Honourable Opposition House Leader, and others.
Everyone's got peer pressure at this age. I mean, there's pressure to smoke, there's pressure to do all sorts of stuff. And I've never been affected by peer pressure. Never.
But there are two countries in the world now in which the young global leaders have emerged. Tell us just a bit about that in terms of the governance.
Yes, actually, this notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the president, who is a young global leader. But what is important for me is those young global leaders have an opportunity to come here.
Right.
And we have established a course now since several years. And I think this cooperation has a tremendous impact, because being here for a week really creates a strong community. And we, in addition to the young global leaders, we have now the global shapers in 450 cities around the world. I just wonder, is there any global shaper here? Yeah, you see global shapers here. What is astonishing is to see how those young people really have a different mindset, and I have great admiration, because when I have a group of global shapers in the room and then ask them, are you thinking in global terms or in national terms? The majority would say in global terms. If I ask them what is more important for you, to make money or to serve society, more certainly 80% would raise their hand and would say serving society. So I'm very optimistic about the future of the world because with the young generation, I think we can build what I would call a new renaissance, particularly using technology, solving all the issues, moving forward.
And I've never been affected by peer pressure. Never.
Canada's Summer Students Grant Program
16
was
seconds
not
is
going
up.
to directly benefit my mother or my brother.
Your 16 seconds are up. Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again, because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the We Group. So you've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared, but I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
My mother
How much?
has
Just the dollar figure.
Throughout her life.
The dollar figure,
in
Prime Minister.
various ways, and is
How
proud
much?
of the work that she's done, and I'm proud of her.
How
as well.
much? I'm looking for a dollar figure.
We can get that number for you if you like. It's been out in the media.
It's been in the media, but you don't know it?
Still, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends. As you know, the theme of this annual meeting is Mastering the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I couldn't imagine anybody who could represent more the world which will come out of this fourth industrial revolution. It certainly will be a world, hopefully, not certainly, hopefully, if we take the right decisions, which will be a diverse world characterized by plurality. It will be a world which will combine significant investments into the future, into our soft and hard infrastructure, with fostering entrepreneurial activity, at the same time social responsibility. It will be a young world. It will be a digital world. Now, who could represent such a world better than you, Prime Minister? We are very glad that at the beginning of this meeting, you are talking to us to represent also a new, open Canada. I want to use this opportunity also to thank our Canadian constituency, which always has been a very loyal and very much engaged constituency here at the Forum. But now, I think with you, together with our constituents, Prime Minister, we can make sure that in the future we strengthen the cooperation even more with your country.
Technology needs to serve the cause of human progress, not serve as a substitute for it or as a distraction from its absence. Simply put, everybody needs to benefit from growth in order to sustain growth. It's not hard to see how the connections between computing, information, robotics, and biotechnologies could deliver spectacular progress. It's also not hard to imagine how it could produce mass unemployment and greater inequality. See, technology itself will not determine the future we get. Our choices will. Leadership will. I believe in positive, ambitious leadership. I don't believe leaders should prey on the anxiety of the disenfranchised. Leadership should be focused on extending the ladder of opportunity to everyone, on pursuing policies that create growth, and on ensuring that growth produces tangible results for everyone. Positive leadership creates a virtuous cycle. The more results we achieve for people, the more we grow the middle class and create real chances for those working hard to join the middle class, the more people will grant you a license for further ambition. we need to trust citizens. We need to give people the tools and ability to help them succeed. The fourth industrial revolution will not be successful unless it creates real opportunities for the billions who weren't able to join us here this week.
If anyone feels that they were impacted by my actions, I completely apologize. It's not my intention to hurt anyone. It certainly wasn't. It is my intention to get this vote done.
Your 16 seconds are up. Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you.